How are we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the Shaun Attwood channel. I'm Ron Swanson. I'm a little bit behind, so you need to bear with me as I get set up here. But we're here today to just go over with your guys' insight and opinions, you, the viewer. I want to hear what you've got to say. Now, Charlie, Kirk, Colin, this was meant to be done on Tuesday. I completely forgot I was having new windows fitted to the entire house this week. And that kind of threw a spanner in the works, which is all done now, and we're ready to go. So I'm going to take this opportunity, right, whilst I'm, setting up in the background. I just want to say, so obviously with moving everything in order to get these windows fitted, every single room in the house has had everything moved and furniture pulled forward and everything like this. So I'm going to capitalize on this, all right? And I'm going to start moving stuff around in the house, I think. So you'll be seeing that happen in the background, all that stuff. And I need to hear from you guys what you want to see from Ron Swanson on the Shaun Attwood channel. Because Friday nights, I'm hoping in the next week or two, I'm going to be rolling out a new Wednesday and a new Friday show. That's going to be my kind of flagship shows for the Shaun Attwood channel. And the rest of the time, we're going to be beating Starmer's ass over on my channel. So I just want to get this rolling and invite anyone who'd like to come and chat with me. There is the link. And, the one thing I know for sure is I don't trust and believe the official narrative. There's been so much going on. And there's so much going on in the world. Tonight at 7:30, we're going over the absolute atrocities of the terror attack that took place in a synagogue yesterday in the UK. Then, in fact, let me bring that up. So we've got this. This is our first show. Then tonight at 7:30, I do believe, terror in the UK. Is this just the start? Then we have Great Britain over on my channel, which is going to be horrific. And then we've got the Friday night nonsense over on the ProjectROOQ channel. Make sure you're liking and subscribing and sharing, and we'll be getting rolling in just a minute. So if you would like to come and join me, please do so, as these call-in shows are all about you guys coming on and being part of it. And without that, I will cut the show. We'll keep it going as long as we can. So I'm very much in this big pile of jumbled opinions on Charlie Kirk at the moment, because I honestly think my theory that whoever's behind this understands how information spreads in 2025 and have done the most incredibly well orchestrated set of distraction events that took place during the shooting. Because the Tyler shooter scenario doesn't make any sense. Does it make sense that Tyler was some sort of patsy used for this whole scenario? 100% could believe that. I could 100% believe that. Okay. But do I think he was the mastermind behind it all? Absolutely not. What the hell is the lady's name? Freaking the black lady out in America. She's been killing it. What the hell's her name? I feel like it begins with a C. You'll know who I'm talking about. But I'm kind of on the same mindset as she is with regards to Candace Owens. Thank you. Like, she's pulling apart absolutely everything. And I feel like every time she dials in on something, it's the same with Jesse on Fire. They're dialing in on things, right? And there's so many things to dial in on. Like, there's so many ways for 10 different people to put together a presentation on this with exactly what they think has happened, and none of them to be the same thing. And, we've got people running on rooftops. We've got the Tyler story. We've got the muzzle flash in the window. We've got the exploding microphone. We've got the weird hand signals in the background. Like, there's so much to keep people distracted from the actual real story. Does that make sense? And I know that's usually the case with a lot of these things, but this one just seems to have taken the biscuit for me. Well, I'm on the same mindset of the way that she's investigating all the different angles on this, mate. Candace Owen, I don't really think she's made a decision on what she thinks yet. I'm pretty sure she's just putting out the narrative as it unfolds in front of her. Okay, so that's what I want the question for you guys to be. Why do we think this has happened? I personally am 100% leaning into the narrative that Charlie Kirk could not be bought by a certain foreign state, and he was about to expose certain shenanigans. That I can believe. Could I possibly believe? I think Trump being an FBI informant in the Epstein files, the foreign country that I'm talking about, not wanting to be exposed, and the things said foreign country have said about Trump, all tied in with the Epstein files and various witnesses being taken out the game this year. It just seems to me that there is a powerful levy of blackmail, right, going on here. And we've all heard rumors for years about certain nations, having certain controls and all of this. And we've all just sort of laughed it off a little bit, right? But I can't remember any other assassination or terror attack where there's the possibility of a hidden explosive inside a device other than a certain event that took place very close to that certain country. And then it got me thinking about what's going on in the world. And it got me asking who actually benefits if all of the Christians, right, and all of the Muslims all start having a massive fight all around the world, who benefits from that? Because you can't tell me this isn't all tied together. Waterboat, I've no idea, mate. Shaun is taking some family time as well. Waterboot, my G. So I think he's focusing on 2 or 3 major shows a week. I'm focusing on a couple of major shows a week. And we're trying to streamline everything down to higher production quality stuff for you guys. If that makes sense. So just stay tuned, Waterboot, mate. Just stay tuned. Feel free to stick around. Maybe I'll grow on you, mate. Maybe I'll grow on you. But for example, hang on as well. Again, come and join me. Oh, also, I think I sorted out the music. Hang on a second. Right, tell me if that is a good balance. Like, because that to me, that's a great level for me to be able to think and do this show. Maybe what I work with. It's maybe not the right music for here. I'll figure this music thing out. It really helps me. So, yeah, post a Discord. Yeah, absolutely, post a Discord. Yeah, you can join the panel using this link. Why not? And you can come and join us using that link right there. Ron will have his phone number set up for this. I got the new number, but I'm having a problem with the device that I'm using. But I am getting it sorted. I promise I am. But I'd love to hear from as many of you as we possibly can. So use that link. Come and join us. You will not be shown on camera. You'll just be heard, if that makes sense. So with everything that's going on in the world, it's usually everything's a distraction, right? And I think we've become too conditioned with the comfort of assuming what is happening is to keep our eyes off something else. And I think we're in a situation where none of this is a distraction. This is a plan unfolding. Yeah, we can do Discord phone calls too. Yeah. I've still got the Discord call-in server. So Mary has come to join us. Mary, can you hear me, Mary?
Yes, how are you? I need to fix the sound here real fast.
No problem. Don't worry. I'll give you a minute to do that. And like I say, you're not on screen, so feel free to do your ironing or freaking like whatever it is you guys are, what people do in the real world on a Friday, like cook your dinner, make a coffee, groom the dog, whatever you need to do. You are safe from being seen. But thank you for coming to join us, Mary. Like, what's your take on this? Like, who can we trust? Who's gaining your trust? Who's losing your trust? Like, take us through how you feel about all this.
I appreciate it being able to call in so easily. And honestly, Charlie Kirk, I loved him so much. I had seen him obviously around, and after I saw his recent Tucker Carlson interview, which I'm not a huge fan of Tucker for certain reasons, but he said so many things that I fully agree with, exposing boomers and even his recent tweets exposing all these white girls being attacked and really speaking out on these really controversial things, which I am so aligned with. And I was so thankful to see him speaking out about that stuff. And so it really, really upset me so much, obviously, when he was martyred.
Yeah. Well, I think we all were. And I think Charlie Kirk had so many different ways of entering into people's lives. I'm not part of the politics of America, and I'm not part of the same religion as Charlie. But I knew Charlie as the guy from the shorts that would just absolutely slam dunk debate people. And his name never stuck with me. It was when it actually happened. Our producer called me, and I Googled him, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's Charlie Kirk!" And the impact that this man's passing away has been so profound. You know, people that have never gone to church, going to church, people trying to be a little bit more conversational than confrontational. And I think that's been amazing, but it's sad that it takes something like this for that change to happen, you know?
Yeah. And the other thing, speaking of faith, is of why I also feel a strong connection with him is because we are of very similar faiths. And I didn't even know until after his death that not only we both believe in Jesus, but he was also, I guess, writing a book about keeping the Sabbath and kind of into some of the Hebraic connection of Jesus. And that's very much also something that I'm a part of. And so it's just that much more affects me and makes me that much more passionate about wanting justice for him, and that much more really bothered by how I feel like some people have maybe tried to misuse this for their own reasons, specifically who I call Crazy C. Can't stand her, and this definitely didn't help, so to speak. You know, because I feel like she's obviously has an anti-Israel.
Who are we talking about here? Who are we talking about here?
Crazy Candace.
Crazy Candace. Well, listen, just so you know, I completely separate myself from all of the political stuff currently to do with Israel and Palestine, right? So it's so much of a mess, I can't give it the attention it deserves. So I'm kind of skipping over things with regards to how people feel about that as I'm doing my research, just so you know. So you and I can have differences of an opinion on people who are reporting on stuff and still get along, just so you know. You're in one of those places. So
yeah, thanks. I mean, it's a lot to grasp, and we're talking, if Jesus is the Messiah, Lord God, obviously he's Jewish, and that means the Jewish people are, some people want to say it's not even the real Jewish people, which is also totally wild and whatever, false, but assume like people have to at least admit there's a good chance the Jewish people are his people. And so coming out speaking all these lies against them, if a person doesn't know what they're talking about, is probably not a good idea. And so if someone doesn't really know what they're saying, it is definitely the better thing just to say, you know what, I'm just not going to say anything right now, you know? So
I'll be honest. We've got a situation going on in the UK right now where we have a treasonous government that wants to put foreign nationals ahead of its own people. And I'm a firm believer in, I've got limited time, so I've got to use my time resources on what needs that time and focus. And for the first time ever, it's Great Britain, man. And it's a scary transition that's happening here. And we're on the boiling point of some scary potential futures in the UK.
Well, it's the entire West, honestly. And that is one of the things that I'm very passionate about and speak out against a lot, because even I found out in the last year with all the anti-white hate, which again, Charlie Kirk's last post repeatedly
Yep.
on Twitter the last few days, he was speaking out against it, which is so amazing. And I
Listen,
hope
I'm
people can remember his actual last post before, because anyways.
no, sorry. I was just saying I completely want to stand by your statement of anti-white hate, right? Because a lot of people, I'll be honest with you, there was a woman on the news today who's so fed up of this Nazi racism use for people who are standing up for their culture that, she turned around and said, those words have lost all meaning to so many people in the UK. We're getting called racist in the UK for putting our national flag outside our home. That's where we've ended up. It's Orwell here. It's crazy, Mary.
And I'll say it because I am a Jewish Christian, by the way, just
okay.
so
okay.
it's clear.
I'm a pagan witch, so nice to meet you.
But in any case, I am a white Jewish Christian, and my family's been in America and Canada for generations, long before what the globalists did, which opened in 1965 and 1967 between America and Canada simultaneously almost, which is obviously kind of suspicious. They created these immigration acts where they pretty much opened our borders, and they took us from our approximately 95% white Judeo-Christian majorities, and just obviously it wasn't to help people. It was obviously to try to destroy us. And we invented almost everything the world depends on today, but we don't get a word of thanks. All we get is all this dogma that we deserve to be hated, that the media has also helped perpetuate. So it's UK, Australia, America, Canada.
Let's be honest, Mary. It's every single prominent white Christian nation. But let's be honest, that's what it is. And listen, we've got to be very careful how we tiptoe around this subject here on Shaun's channel. So all I'll say is, for my personal belief, and I imagine a few of you, there seems to be an importation of a culture that wants to assimilate rather than integrate. And it's actually, I've got a show tonight that covers all of this. So let's circle back to Charlie just now, Mary. What do you think about all of these theories that seem to be coming out about Charlie? Where are your chips landing? Like, if this was a casino and you've got 100% of your chips, what percentage of your chips are you putting on what theories right now?
Okay, I want to say that I appreciate that. I'll tell you the things I do believe add up. First of all, Shaun, from very early on when this took place, he had a great guest. I think it was like Greg or something. Anyways, it was talking about that there looked like, and I didn't agree with everything, but he talked about, based on his investigation, that it looked like there was a connection between the Vatican to the Mormon to some type of Utah NWO sector, as far as who actually specifically was behind the assassination. And so, I mean, I believe that NWO is international. And so I think, but his guests seemed to help break down exactly where it was more specifically coming from. It seemed, as far as I understand it, allegedly. And that, what was I going to say? And also that guest specifically was talking about Epstein, and that there was, it was potentially, there was one of the Epstein, I guess, witnesses had said there was going to be a hit in the next few days. So that was what he was saying. And I guess also this looked like it was used as a distraction from some of the Epstein stuff. They ended up passing, I think, deciding to maybe like, what was it, to like classify certain information or whatever it was within a few days of Charlie Kirk's murder. And so I think it was partly for a distraction and an NWO hit. And then based on that, probably is what I would think. And then,
well, listen, let's just see this. I'm of the same mindset you when you say the NWO, right? Mm-hmm. So the problem I have with the NWO, right, is I think Charlie would have been way more used to them alive, unless he was about to say or do something, unless we're both totally wrong and it was that 22-year-old and everything the FBI tells us is right. Because I can't get behind how he's not better off alive to most of the bloodlines of the world, unless he knows something, was going to expose something, or that's the trouble that I'm having, you know?
Okay, I'll say two things to that.
Yeah, please do.
Thank you. For the 22-year-old, I would say listen, the NWO has so many people working for them under mind control, born into this cult.
I
They're
will
devil
take that, Mary.
worshippers, you
Yep,
know?
I'll give you that. So we could go with MK Ultra. Let's just blanket it with that. So sleeper cell, you know, conditioned from a young age and then programmed and then activated. I could totally buy into that. So anything else, Mary?
But I would say obviously it wasn't just him alone if he was
Oh
involved.
no. Well, here's the thing. It couldn't have just been him, right? And here's another thing, Mary. If you have the official story is he walked into the university and then went up staircases to the roof, right? Like, why in the world would you ever plan to murder someone and then plan to remove a rifle? I mean, you would just leave it there. I don't understand. You know, you've already snuck it in. Why were you sneaking it out and hiding it in a park? It makes so little sense to me. It really, really does.
So
and then
that's,
there's obviously the footage, which is even more confusing.
sorry.
No,
So,
I would
yeah,
say
so that's what the, sorry, go ahead.
I would say then there was the footage, which was more confusing. There is a couple of second delay, so don't worry. You're not talking over me, and I'm not talking over you. We've just got a tiny little delay. So carry on with your points, Mary.
Yeah, so I was just going to say the two things, and to follow up the first one here is, oh crap, I might have, but I mean, I think that's it, is the investigation. It's like, if we know this is NWO, like, that's what I don't like, the distraction, pointing to like, oh, it's this country over there that I hate, quote unquote, from, you know, Mrs. C or whatever. Like, let's not lose sight of what we're doing here. We have an investigation. Somebody that really we love was murdered. Like, we know if it came from Utah, Vatican, Mormons, NWO, let's focus on that. Like, let me ask
you some tough questions, Mary. Right. So first of all, up until the point where I watched American Primeval, I didn't realize the history of the Mormons. Okay, pretty spicy history. I just want to point out the Mormons, especially in the US. So I would put some chips on the Mormons having some reason to get a bit spicy. But Mary, what if we're getting to a point where there's been so many occasions where we've seen horrible people live a horrible life, then die to never face justice, and we're like, oh, well, we knew all the signs. What if the chips keep stacking and stacking towards a country that we're just not going to name because it's easier just to, you know, be subtle with it? What if the chips keep stacking there? What if the leader of that country continues to make statements like, I control Donald Trump, I control America? I mean, we've got to start asking questions at some point. I know it's uncomfortable for a lot of people, but we've got to start asking questions. And it doesn't mean that those questions mean that I'm right. It just means the discussion surely has to be had at some point, right?
I mean, I think it is important to have a discussion if people actually really want the truth and they're genuine and it's not just with an agenda. We do have the discussion, you know, and I will say, as a Jew, right, because I said I'm a Jewish Christian, I lived in Israel for 4 years. I am not a Netanyahu supporter. I had a dream of October 7th, potentially on the record, like 7 years before it happened. And it talked about Netanyahu in the dream, and it wasn't in a favorable way. I'm not, you know, and it's a lot more complex than people realize. And I just feel like a lot of times people want to hold Israel to a standard that they're not holding their own countries to. Because if part of Israel has been infiltrated by the NWO, which it has, I believe, so is America, so is the UK.
Oh, Mary. Okay, so
is Canada.
If the narrative is that country has an imposter pulling the strings, then every other country does too. 100 million %, 100 million billion %. So yeah, just so you know, I'm fully on board with that. But well, listen, Mary, it's been really nice talking to you.
Can I just make the final point real fast?
Of course, please do. I wasn't kicking you off. Just give me 1 second. I just want to say, no coiner on Discord. I will get to you next. The gentleman who joined and then went away because he thought I was too busy or didn't understand the system, come and rejoin the panel and I'll get you on too. I'm not rushing you off, Mary, by any chance. So please take your time.
Okay, thank you. No, it's just the second thing that you had said about Charlie Kirk, why that you thought maybe he would have been better off to the end
Okay.
of alive. And
Yep.
I mean, I personally would say that I know that there could be the two theories but I would say I feel like I believe he was genuine. I believe, and that therefore he was a huge threat to them because he was speaking a lot of truth. Like he was speaking about the things people don't want to speak about the borders, about the anti-white crime, about boomers, who have approximately 50% of the wealth when their kids, millennials, who are even bigger in population, have 4%. We kind of got a bit screwed over with whatever we got born into here and however they ended up managing these systems. So I appreciate him so much, how he called a lot of these important things out and was passionate about them. And in that sense, I feel like he was a huge threat to them. And by the way, the Erica with her movie 10 years ago, she's my kind of crazy 910, in the comment allegedly like, thanks for shooting Tyler or whatever, to me. And then the way she's acting, kind of taking over Turning Point with now bringing over Crazy C onto the board from what I've seen, when, like I said, his last interactions were with Ben Shapiro and Daily Wire. That's who he was really, we see working with closely.
Let me inject a bit of coding into your regular person mind, Mary. The reason that you would have been better off to them alive is because regardless of who his wife is, he loved his children. And any man that has children can be controlled.
But he's a man of God. He's not going to compromise.
No, listen. It doesn't matter if you're a man of God or not. If a country or a higher power or a cabal lets you know exactly what could happen to your children if you don't play ball, that's what makes him a much more valuable, alive individual who is close to Trump, who has the ears of all these people. And I know that sounds really cynical and evil, but that's just how the criminal world works. So for me, that would be the reason why he was better off alive. But I still think that the people that would want to keep him alive are actually the people that killed him. So it's one of those double entendres for me. Not double edge. One of these. I can't quite get to the answer, Mary, is what I'm trying to get to.
I just don't understand how his wife hasn't been stopping to take more time to grieve, from what it seems. I don't know. That was my feeling. And then I saw a Facebook post and all these other people were saying the same stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm glad I'm not the only one who's kind of like, what?
Do you know, I kind of agree with you, right? But at the same time, it's Charlie Kirk's missus. And you know for a fact that the one, and this is going to sound so ridiculous, but the one way you honor Charlie Kirk as his wife is by powering through and not letting them win. And I think that's about the only way I can sum up all of that. That's the only viable option is that. Does that make sense to you? But I'm not saying you're wrong in the slightest.
Yeah, because also the thing is, from the faith standpoint, she's a baptized Catholic. He said that on the record as well. And there's like different like kind of things that have come out that maybe they were trying to sway him towards Catholicism, even like not even hiding it. But like I said, he was writing a book about keeping the 7th-day Sabbath. And so like there might just be more to it than people have realized. In my opinion, I hope I'm wrong, and allegedly for everything I said.
Yeah, I can firmly get behind your closing statement there. Like, that's exactly how I feel. Like, it sadly would be better if it was just a crazy kid. It'd be better if it hadn't happened at all. It'd be better if it hadn't happened at all. But,
when Erica's Catholic, baptized, and Crazy Candace is Catholic now, it's like there may be a lot more spiritual, religious kind of stuff happening. And Charlie was not Catholic than people. Do you
want to go down a darker road?
In my opinion, sure.
Do you want to go down a darker road? So, really, and this is just two people having a debate on the internet side chat. This is not what me and Mary think. This is just what you call a discussion about a point because it could be interesting. The people who've actually benefited from all of this are the people closest to Charlie Kirk.
The people closest, okay.
Trump, J.D. Vance, Erica, Christian, like Jesus. right? The entire right-wing movement, right?
I mean, I don't trust Trump either. I mean, there are certain
No,
things that
let
I
me
like him,
carry on with this, because if we're going to go down like truly evil narratives, any one of Charlie's friends, whether it was the left, whether it was religion, whatever, everything that meant something to him has exploded in his death. So really,
can you explain that?
well, his faith, his chosen religious idol, Jesus, right? Donald Trump, how people view the left. A lot of the people in the left viewing the reaction of the left, leaving the left. Is this just Royal Mess is coming back, Andrea? Don't worry. Ron's had a lot of personal life stuff. It's coming back. Do not worry. Do not worry, Andrea. So for me, are we staring into the abyss of an evil genius from the right side to create a martyr to bolster their entire movement? Because that would be some evil genius, sick, twisted shizness.
Well, the side of evil, because I believe we are in a battle between good and evil, will always try to use anything they can to try to move forward with their agenda, right? And so, yeah, that's what bothers me so much is like, I actually really cared about this man, and we aligned so much on our advocacy and things like that. And I hate,
Yep.
and when people would always ask if people could actually listen to his different, interviews and all the different footage that he has out there, so he's been asked about the Jews more than once, and I've heard him say more than once, kind of almost making fun of it, being like the people who always blame the Jews and Israel for everything, and he's like, and like, that's not who he is. He kind of like, honestly, he rejected it and pretty much made fun of it. So the fact that now that's even what his death is being used for by Mrs. Owens, and it's just ironic, and that's what bothers me too, especially is like his life, his death, his legacy. Like, can we actually hold on to what it truly is and what it was? Can we actually investigate the NWO and not let any type of possible intentional distractions get put out to try to divert us from really focusing on the truth, right? That's how I see it.
Yeah, listen, you know what? I hear you. We use different terms. The NWO, I call it the cabal. But I've been talking, my community in this channel and my channel have been talking about this for almost a decade, Mary. We're a whole believers in the occult side of the cabal, how the 1% control the 99, how society's set up to confuse the 99% that we couldn't overthrow the 1%. It's mind-boggling. Then you have Epstein and Diddy to compare. Then you've got the David case, and you've got the case of a woman who's stabbed on the neck in a train. There's a lot of oddities with what a lot of people would refer to as demonic acts. So you're surrounded by people that have been preaching this for a while. Now, listen, if you, just like Mary, would like to come and join me, please click on the Discord link or the StreamYard link. I would also like to ask all of you to like and share. I know you hear me saying it, but if you could actually share this out, if you're watching on Twitter, please come to the Shaun Attwood channel and give us your viewership there. Push aside your whole censorship, Google, and help me keep my lights on, because that's where we're at right now. It's desperate times.
Okay, it was nice to meet you. Maybe I'll get to talk to you next time. I'll try to find you on Twitter, follow you if you're.
Listen, a big thing for all my shows moving forward is the viewers, right? Sometimes it will be serious stuff. Other times it will be, current news or silly stories or whatever. But I would, come back and join us. That would be great, Mary. It would be great to hear from you again. And thank you so much for being here.
I will. Thank you so much. See you.
Okay. Do you think these events are real? Well, listen, what do you mean by unreal? Because if you mean, do we believe what the government tells us in the official narrative? Obviously fucking not, me. Do I believe that a man was shot in the neck in front of a bunch of people, like 95% convinced Charlie Kirk is dead, right? But if you think that you're like coming in here with some profound statement, do you think these are real? Like, come on. Jeez, like, come on now. Now we have got Known coiner, are you there on Discord? Can you hear me? Your microphone is off, just so you know.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. How are you? Can I just confirm that the side chat can hear known coiner? So if you just introduce yourself, mate.
Yep. Yep.
On you go.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, great work on the show. I appreciate you guys putting out so many perspectives in the fog of war. And
you still there, bro?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you absolutely fine. Don't worry, you're coming through crystal clear. We can all hear you, and there might be a slight delay. So if it sounds like we're talking over each other, we can both assume that we were raised better and we're not doing it on purpose. But tell us your take on this, and just feel free to go through any points on this that you want to cover, or you feel like haven't been raised or have been raised that you want to bolster. Just take it away.
So one interesting thing I think that got overlooked was the Hamptons meeting. Charlie came out and said his first question was, how do we deal with someone or influencers calling for Netanyahu to step down? And I think that was his question, because I think he was going to use TPUSA to call for the resignation for Netanyahu. And the reason why I think this is because he loved Israel, clearly. He loved the Jewish people. He loved Trump. And the nexus of evil in his perspective, it seems, was Netanyahu, because he was doing the genocide, he's controlling Trump, he's using our military to attack the Middle East. And I think that he viewed Netanyahu as his enemy. And I think he was platforming that question because he was going to take that strategy of getting Netanyahu to step down, because he was also talking to opposition parties in Israel.
Yeah, you know, that's exactly, I mean, not quite as complexly and intellectually laid out as you've done there, but that's exactly where my mindset was going, because it doesn't matter of the faith or the people. Charlie would, you know, effectively stand for everyone's rights, regardless of who you are, faith, whatever. And what he was saying before his death, his interviews and the narrative he was pushing, you could only interpret that as, oh my God, what's to come? And obviously that will never come now. So I think you're right on the money.
Yeah, I think he was actually going to go on the offensive, because I think he wanted to save Trump from Netanyahu. I think he wanted to save Israel from Netanyahu and sort of bridge that divide. And I think he was not going to toe the line anymore. He was so visceral in his, I didn't know Charlie had statements like this. I didn't know that. I didn't know he went so hardcore in those last few weeks. I was like,
yeah, I was
shocked.
Right, it's amazing what gets spread and what gets suppressed.
Yeah, and he was in the whole framing for the past few weeks is, oh no, he loves Israel, he would never turn his, and it's like, no, he obviously you're using the wrong comparison. He loved Israel, but he was going to go after Netanyahu. And I think obviously one other thread I think is interesting is Erica Kirk. Her parents, you know, obviously had connections to Israel with Iron Dome, Raytheon, and I do wonder if that they were telling Charlie the reality of what was going on there. So they were actually telling him, no, Netanyahu's the bad guy. I wonder if they were actually, some of the inside information was coming from Erica Kirk's parents, and rather than them, you know, being controlled by Netanyahu. I think maybe they were giving him information, and maybe this was a message to Erica's family as well. Stop it.
Yeah, you got to remember as well, whenever there's a situation where parents and children are involved, like for example, I don't know if you've got any kids, known coiner, But if you're a normal
Yeah.
person, right, and you suddenly get a phone call that has heavy evidence that it's come from a government, letter agency, and they say, if you open your mouth about this phone call, if you open your mouth about anything again, if you don't follow the narrative that you're going to be told to follow, something horrific is going to happen to you and your family. 99% of people hit their pants and fall in line.
Yep. 100%. I would too. I would too in a heartbeat.
People often talk about, oh, they've been bought off. Follow the money. Listen, the criminal underworld is way more ruthless. And if you've got, people talk about love, right? Love is the most important and incredible part of being human. But we never talk about the downside of love, right? And the downside of love is it's the most destructive and soul-destroying, catastrophic emotion when something you love is destroyed or torn from you. And we never talk about that because that is what creates this levy of control. We're way past payoffs and all of that. It simply comes down to, if you're a parent, they can own you.
Yeah, I think that Charlie even, I think okay, so if you look at things archetypally, and I know you have an occult background, so I think this will resonate.
Yeah.
Is I think sometimes people have a messiah complex. And I think, and not necessarily in a derogatory way, but I do think sometimes if you've been in the public your entire life, I think you get desensitized to threats at some point because you ignore them. They come so often, and it's possible that the stern talking to Charlie was getting from his handlers he might have been numb to the idea that they would go that far. And if he was getting death threats, I probably might have got numb to those things, because I know a lot of big people who have big shows.
I'll be honest. I used to have a channel with 130,000 subs, and I became immune to all the death threats and thing.
Right.
And here's the thing: like, you learn after about a week of your first indoctrination into multiple death threats, you realize that no one's going to email you ahead of killing you. It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yep.
Like, it doesn't make any
sense.
But I mean, I had a couple that were really like, whoa, like Google images of people's houses and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But still, I mean, come at me, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like, come at me. It's.
Yep. I think Charlie, archetypally, I think Charlie may have been tapping into that. And I think that he was exploited for having that messiah complex, because then you get turned into a sacrificial martyr. And you know how some of these old, especially Kabbalah-oriented esoteric religions are. They're archetypal weavers. They see themselves as pulling the archetypal reins of the earth, and they're good at the pendulum swing of playing both sides and knowing how to channel those forces. Unfortunately, you have the trickster who will subvert anyone who gets over their head, and hopefully a lot of these holes in this case are the trickster at work, where these mistakes, these little holes, because I see that sometimes when
do you know what? No, Coiner, right? I'm gonna.
Yeah.
It sounds like I can speak your language here. Like, we're so past that. Like, I wish I could bolster the. It's the trickster, because in the trickster's realm, we're talking about good and bad. Right? There's various little rascals that exist in this world that create the balance of good and bad, and good and bad is what we want, because the wolf eating the stag is perfect good and bad. It's good for the wolf, but it's bad for the stag. Evil is the problem. And what we're seeing take place in the world, even the trickster is like, fucking, who's up to this? Because the trickster is exactly as you said. He likes to trick, he likes to lure, and he likes to play with people's emotions and realities. Completely and utterly destroying what we know as the known world is not an act of bad. Okay. And when we talk about the occult that these people are into, these are the There's no choir songs. They're the raining howls of suffering that they bask in not only the sound, but the bloody pleasure of being part of. And I was told something by somebody, right? And trigger warning for everyone. And this put in perspective for me how different humans who aren't capable of love are non-coiner. And for this, it's so cliche and hippie tree hugger to be like, love is the most powerful thing, right? Because when we consider a human being who is void of the capability of love, okay, that is when evil takes place. And I heard something from a woman that I interviewed a long time ago about a mother being taken with her baby and her waking up to see her baby effectively on a hot surface, shall we say, screaming in pain. And she was told all she had to do was pick up her baby to make it stop. She's obviously woken up and she's heavily drugged. And as she's standing there trying to pick up her child, she realizes that they've removed both her arms.
Oh my God.
Nobody would come up with that and put it in a movie in however. Think of all the mad shit you've seen in movies, right? No one has come up with that and made it into a movie. That is what someone void of love is capable of coming up with. You understand? And that's what we're dealing with. And when I talk about the gods, right? And I talk about my gods and Jesus, right? Jesus, when it comes to the physical realm on earth, he uses love as his power. And you can't defeat evil with love, right? When it comes to the demonic and that level of stuff, Jesus literally just walks around touching evil and it just goes poof, like Kaiser Soze. But it's the physical realm where there's free choice. Where if we could suddenly remove evil and get, in my country, I'm not going to speak for the world, insert your God here, Christianity, as a pagan, I'm totally okay with my country, my children being raised under those sorts of beliefs. Easter, good. Forgiveness, good. Christmas, good. All good, right? But sometimes you need to bring in other gods to do horrible, barbaric things to horrible, barbaric things. And that's why I'm so convinced that every god exists for reasons, for timelines, for cultures, for parts of the world, the universe, all of it. Because without all of them, none of it makes sense.
I agree. You have to, and you have to have that pantheon. It's and I think that's what's interesting about what you said is I've often thought, where does this philosophy come from? Where when you look at the Sabbateans and the Frankists, they had such an interesting metaphysics in terms of if you do the worse you do, the faster goodness will have to come and save the day.
It's the opposite of what you put out. So if I murder a baby, I get the opposite of that. Now the opposite of murdering a baby must be something pretty amazing when you consider how evil murdering a baby is, right? So try and get your head around that normality of thinking, because what you said exactly there, multiple people who are survivors of the cabal, the elite Hollywood, have said that's exactly how it is. It's their belief in the more horrific thing they do, the bigger, the better, the more positive the return. Now, I want you all to imagine that for a second. If I say black, think of the opposite, white. If I say up, you say down. If I say, picking a family member and having to saw them in half alive, it's a little harder for our brain to interpret a positive return from that. But imagine the evilness reversed. That's the point where I'm trying to drill home to you all, because that's the mindset of a lot of these cabal members.
Yeah, and you wonder, how did this get sold? And you think about it, and you go, well, what morality would the elites just love to have when you can have anything, when there's nothing you can't have, and someone comes and says, have everything you want and have your cake and eat it too.
You're thinking it from a mindset of somebody who's never been a legacy billionaire. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not about what they have. It's about continuing it.
Yep.
So don't ever imagine this is about getting more stuff, because I'm telling you now, once you buy a bed, right, for $20,000, it's lasting a while. Okay. Because we ain't talking about frivolous bullshit spending. We're talking about the elite cabals where it's real money, it's endless money, and it's about continuing that legacy. Now, it's very interesting. Dubai is a very interesting one for me, New Coiner, right? Because it's, for me, what I see is the manifestation of the new kids on the block as far as cabal and elites.
Interesting.
Flexing like a mother fudger, right? I mean, if you look at this, look at the mega city they're building, right?
It is. It's like drunken spending, yeah.
Yeah, but dude, have you seen the other 12 projects?
No.
Dude,
I would be.
Dude, the glass wall city is like the regular person. You're living in Dubai. You could afford to buy and live there one. The other 11 are freaking mental. Okay? Like, we are talking luxury on luxury. One of them, if you don't own a helicopter, you ain't getting access. To put it in perspective. So now, what's interesting? No, but stay with me here. It's interesting that a world is being created in a place that offers this this extreme luxury lifestyle to a culture of people who, if they act in a certain way, for example, crossing a red line outside a hotel with a pint glass that's empty in your hand, you could go to jail for many, many years. It's interesting that sport is being bought up by this country. It's interesting that a lot of what we have here as our Western culture pastimes, shall we say, are being heavily paid to move to this country. Now, what if, and I'm just being, a pessimist here, in a couple of decades' time, everything that we're talking about now continues to happen. We have minorities that become majorities, and we now have a new super hub, and all of that is taken away in Dubai. Everything is restricted. There's no more being able to buy. There's no more nothing. I think that Dubai is the distraction.
Interesting.
If I'm being honest.
Interesting.
Now, Lucky, I will get to you in just a minute, mate. I know you're waiting in the background. Make sure everything's working. I'll get to you in just a few minutes, bro, once I'm done chatting with Coiner. Also, Coiner, I've made you a regular caller on this Discord because I would like you back and having more conversations with me because we're on a wavelength here.
I'd love that. I won't keep it too much longer, but I think that's fascinating because I think one thing to help people understand the reality of some of these really hard to fathom things is understanding that there's a grease that it's like a grease at a certain level of power for the machinations to move in. And I do think that when you have people who do have endless resources, when someone can give them a morality that lets them indulge even at certain spheres, because I'm sure you're going to have your spheres of evil, but when you do get these elites who can't want to indulge, but maybe they're conscious, but then someone gives them this inverted morality of it's okay to displace this, to do this, and they're able to think that they're scoring karmic points somehow by indulging in whatever they want. Eventually, that's how you can co-opt so many elites very quickly because you're giving them a morality. You're giving them their own elite.
You see, you would be right, but we're way too in the shit for that too. Because
I agree.
If what I'm referring to takes place, the laws of the land instantly change to a basis where if you question the government, straight to jail. If you dress inappropriate, straight to jail. And this is when religion is used to govern people. And when, so I was just asked by Helena, why Dubai? Because look at the shiny, shiny, Helena. Look at the shiny, shiny. Look at all of these influencers that flock there. Look at all of the realities. We've had female influencers come forward to say that they've witnessed other girls being beaten to death. We've had girls being told that if they get paid $200,000 to have someone defecate in their mouth, they'll also get a free burqa. When we have the mass import of pretty ladies to a country that facilitates this mass disrespect, we have to then assume that the people at the top of the table, which are these people, would have that same mindset on a global scale. And we are assuming, we always go to our own known version of reality. But the reality of certain religious courts and laws take away your ability to say anything.
Almost like the normalization of pedophilia, just to kind of make it as
Dude, that's a whole other goddamn conversation. And I'll be honest with you, we can have that another night over on my channel, because sadly,
for sure. We won't go deep.
I just wanted to make camping videos, and now sadly I am a goddamn expert on the PDF files. But listen, Coiner, it's been great talking to you.
Convo. Excellent.
What we'll do is the mods will post a link to the regular Discord inside the live show Discord. Come and join that. Make sure you're on that one. And I think you'd be a great person to have back. Whereabouts are you based, by the way? What time is it where you are right now?
So I'm on Eastern, over not East, Midwest, and so 11, I'm not sure where you're at, but
is it like 11 p.m. for you or 2 p.m.?
Oh, it's 2 p.m. Yep.
Right, sick. Right, because it's 7 p.m. for me now. So like evening shows and stuff like that, you're in the happy time zone. The 8 o'clock one gets a bit rough sometimes.
Yeah, I'm up late, so all good. No, I look forward to talking to you more. I have some things I'd love to throw your way, and I'd love to. This is my first time actually hearing you. I was searching through, and I listened for like 2 minutes, and I was like, oh damn, this is sweet. So I'm really psyched out.
Well, dude, there's a lot of Ron Swanson lore for you to learn. But I'm looking for to create some shows, and I need some panel members that I can bounce off that can, be part of the show. And I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about that, because the energy is good. And when you find out the last 10 years of what we've been doing, I'm sure you'll be excited about it. So thank you, Coiner, for being here, mate. And if somebody from the mod team can post in the general chat, it's already there, I think. I think Mac already posted it. Right, I'll pin it. Yeah, make sure you go into Gen chat just now, and then click on the We Are Legion server before you do anything. All right, listen.
Excellent. We'll do. Take care, brother.
You too, my Jeep. Take it easy. What a nice guy. All right. Right, Lucky, how are we doing, my G?
Yeah, can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you, brother.
Oh, awesome, dude. Awesome. Look,
honestly,
I need to just thank you. It's amazing that
before you say all the nice things, right? I just need to say, every time we talk, right, for about half an hour after the show, I am deep in my South African accent impression. Okay, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
My brother. My brother. Are you not from South Africa?
I am. But most people think I've got like this British American accent.
No. My brother, all of my nieces and nephews are half South African, right? And like their mum's dad was like rich white South African, right? And honest to God,
now when you're coming to visit,
no, I am not made for South Africa. I'm that one tourist every year that wanders off, and then but in saying that, I'm Scottish. I am Scottish, so that kind of buys you a pass for most kidnappings and cartels. You can kind of talk your way through it. But nah, man, I would be.
Nah, but it's fine. We ride our lions to work, bro. Carjackings are a problem.
Thailand and South Africa. Nah. Most of Africa, in fact. Nah. Yeah. Like the wildlife, that's an our worry, right? And wandering off, man. Nah. Like, nah. It's like Australia. I would love to go to Australia. My support in Australia has always been really bizarrely massive. But right, Like the spiders the size of your thumbnail can kill you. Like,
Oh yeah.
why do they still exist, Lucky? What would happen to the world if we killed all of those spiders? What would happen? Nothing.
That's
Everything
why
would
I'm one of
continue.
the rare South Africans that don't want to go to Australia.
No, listen. Australia's freaking awesome. It's kind of like the UK.
It's a beautiful place.
In the 80s. But now, you know what else? Well, last fun fact, and then we'll let you actually give your points over. You know that all of the parts that are populated by white people, the white settlers of Australia, if you broke them off of Australia, you can fit them inside the UK, because they have to stick. Everything is a coastline where there's a breeze. Okay. Because how many years ago did we send all the prisoners over there? And still the white folk that turned up there walked into the middle of Australia and just went, nah, we ain't even building stuff here. We ain't even doing nothing, because dude, I'm not built for a place where if you break down in your vehicle, you cook to death. Okay. Like, that's too intense for me. The coastline, no problem. But nah, there'll be no helicopter tours of the outback or long van drives where wheels can fall off and then that guy can come with his big knife and sever your spine. Nah.
Dude, you know, people that build their castles on the sand, eh?
What? I don't even know what that means. But no, it's too hot. It's too hot. Too hot, mate. It's too hot.
Man. Yeah, no, it's crazy. And look, that's my main point, dude. It's most people don't know what stuff means, and they just get hung up on these conspiracies. Like, look, I'm not going to talk about Kirk. I'm kind of Kirk fatigued. I really think there's much more things going on, and Kirk is like a coloring book of conspiracies that just keeps getting deeper. We kind of already know what's going on.
What do you think of my point that in 2025, if this was like the cabal, if this was New World Order assassination, do you not think we're at the stage where they would purposely put a whole bunch of distraction things, muzzle shots, people doing hand signals, blow up a freaking microphone, fire bullets? Do you not think that we're at a stage where it's weaponizable for them to put all of these staged micro events in an assassination, because they know how the public's going to scrutinize everything?
But you know,
hang on one second. Danita, that is the next show at 7:30. It's getting its own show, just so you know. So stick around. It's at 7:30 on this channel. I'm going to make sure all the redirects are set up. But yes, I feel your passion, and that is the next show this evening. So apologies, Lucky. Carry on.
What can I say and what can't I say? Because you know,
so when you refer to people of a certain religion, I need you to say the full. I need you to say the full religious name and not abbreviate it. If you know what I'm saying.
That's great. That's great. I like people like you then, because you know what?
No. Listen. Also,
yourself like that, right?
No. Listen, this is my day job. No. This is my day job, and I've got like things that I need to do for the channel. So when we come to thinking, oh, we're being censored, no, we're weaponizing censorship against them by being able to speak algorithm and exist on these platforms.
Well, I have a bit of a different view, because I think because they are using an AI system to detect, right?
Yeah.
If we just proxy spam them with the keywords that they are looking out for, they have too much to worry about. Honestly.
Well, here's the thing, right? So YouTube, and I need to put this in a very suspiciously secretive manner. You're currently dealing with a channel that gets very, very special treatment. And when I say special treatment, I mean in the same special treatment as like an abusive father would give to its child, from not only governing powers, but also the platform itself, with the special treatment this platform gives our channel, which is very sad. But you do not do anything right in this life without pissing off a bunch of people. And I use
I'm
the
just
movie.
thankful I get to be in your gulag, dude.
Listen, I use the movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson as a perfect analogy for someone like Shaun Attwood. You know, the guy had to suspiciously delete about 6,000 videos over the last 5 years because one of them nailed it, right? I don't know which one it was, but it got enough that it was a case of delete every single thing or go to the shadow realm. And, you know, but Shaun and I have both woken up with our channels deleted. I've lost, you know, a collective 160,000 subscribers over 2 channels that got deleted because things, you know.
Look, I'm definitely not saying it's not real, but there's too much of these fucking podcasters that keep, you know, grifting off of it. It annoys me.
Here's the thing, right? So every podcaster that's out there or let's just say creator, right? Because a lot of them aren't podcasters, right? So creators that are putting out stories that people say, oh, they're grifting off this, they're grifting off that. Like, here's the thing. You have clicked on a video to watch the content. If you click on somebody every day and watch a video about the content that you're clicking on, what's the difference between clicking on one person who's put out 20 videos and 20 people that have put out individual videos? It's not us that's an issue. You're the one looking and consuming it. So it's not anything to do with people milking. Some people are definitely milking.
Yeah, but I watch streamers that literally insult their fucking viewers and then run behind the fucking paywall.
Oh yeah, we're talking about completely different things. Just so you know. But the streaming culture is wild, bro. Like you got to understand, women came out of absolutely nowhere and it, like weaponized the cleavage and changed the entire streaming game. You know?
Yeah. Oh,
and you know, fair play to them, man. Fair play to you ladies for kicking. And listen, also, there's a lot of women that don't weaponize the cleavage that are very damn successful as well. I just want to point out too.
Yeah, true,
it's not. I'm just saying. But
I really like a base chick with brains. I do, because there's so little of them out there. That's fucking rare.
Do you know what I really like watching are these podcasts that take place in LA. And it's like women who are like, oh, I would never marry a man who earns less than $3 million. And I'd rather marry a man that was abusive that earned $3 million than someone who loved me and earned, you know, 150 or 200K a year. But they mean it, bro.
Yeah, I know. And that's where I get like, yo, dude, Myron's right.
Right. Myron, yeah, honestly, so right. Listen.
I'm sorry, but you chicks are dumb.
No, listen. Not all chicks and dumb, but there's a demographic. The ones that I just mentioned. If you haven't seen these women that we're talking about, it's wild to watch, and there's enough of it that I'm now talking about it because just raising that as a topic sounds like a landmine, but it's crazy. It's crazy.
I almost victimized myself of that kind of gaslighting in the relationship. Look, I'm not a victim. Yeah. I'm the survivor.
Listen, and man, I hear you.
Look, these things happen, and I guess if we do survive it, it's better like that.
Well, look, for me, it's fascinating to watch. I can't wait to see the same women that have said this 10 years from now, okay, going back and doing a Where Are They Now podcast. Maybe they'll prove us all wrong, bro. Maybe they'll all have dudes tied down and all of that. But it's just incredible. It's an incredible mindset. But you know what it is as well? It's a mindset that's been in the male culture for a long time. But it's not necessarily over money. It may be over looks or beauty or whatever. It's just a different it's different input into the same equation, if that makes sense.
We have a generation of bastards, and I've heard you say it too. I've heard you say it too, right? But like, you know, it's true. It's really true. And these things tend to manifest. They do. And they manifest in school shooters, in other psychos.
Yep.
It's just It's just an avalanche effect. It happens.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
And then
listen,
people act
we've got
surprised.
we've got about 4 or 5 minutes, right? And I want to get there's somebody in Discord. You just stay here, Lucky. But I'm going to just go over to hang on 1 second. Amin, are you there? Amin, are you there? All right, you literally sound like you are inside a hard drive.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you now. What's happening, mate? What's happening?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound
Can you
great
hear me?
now. You sound great now. Welcome to the Shaun Attwood channel. What's your take on all this?
Okay, good. Well, let me tell you my story. First of all, I just have to say I'm a person who worked with the government, and I saved lives in 2022 from a bomb threat.
Oh, hell yeah. It's okay. I mean, there's a slight delay, so I'm just going to let you speak, and I'm quite happy to give to sort of narrate back to you. But there is a slight delay, so if we talk over each other, it's not because we're being rude. And he's gone. All right. Well, listen, we're gonna actually no, I can't just abandon Jeg. 1 second, Jeg, you little rascal, what you up to? I can't hear you, Jeg. I still can't hear you. Bro.
Someone is shouting, "Oi, they shut it down somewhere."
Jeg, I can't hear you, mate. But listen, we're getting to the end of the show. We are about to start a new show. You will get a notification to come over to that show. It's starting in about 20 minutes. We're going to be ending this show in about 4 or 5. And these call-in shows or calling in will always be a factor on the shows that I do, because I think it's really important for us all to be able to, have a conversation. There will be a number and a WhatsApp for future events. And yeah, honestly, man, every time you open your mouth, I get flashbacks to Lethal Weapon 2. Like every time. Remember Lethal Weapon 2 with the South African diplomatic immunity guy? Like honestly, that was my first ever experience with South African accents with Lethal Weapon 2. And as a kid growing up, I was obsessed with the Lethal Weapon series, anything with Christian Slater and all the diehards. Well, just diehards.
Do you know the guy from the A-Team? The guy that played Murdoch, right?
Wait, which one was Murdoch? Was it the handsome one or the cigar guy? Oh no, that was the crazy one, right?
Crazy motherfucker with
Crazy,
a
yeah,
helicopter.
okay, yeah, Murdoch. Yeah.
So he apparently is a South African, and I think he plays in a few other movies as well. He's really good, actually. I really like him too.
Do you know? I just want to say, it's going to be a while before anything coming out of South Africa tops District 9. Like that was as close to like a perfect movie as you can fucking get. It was incredible. It really was. I applied for the school that done all of the CGI for the prawns. It's in Canada actually, but I didn't want to go to Canada. But I just wanted to know that I could do it, because it's like if you go to that animation school, you're set. You're absolutely set. Like all the major Hollywood studios look for their students to finish off their projects as a movie. Do you know what I mean? Because that's how high the bar is. And I just thought District 9, the dude, the South African actor that plays the wee guy in that, freaking awesome. I see them waiting, Bailey. We don't have time, sadly, but we will be live once again. As always, Lucky, mate. Always nice to speak to you, mate. We're live all night. We've got another show at 7:30, then we've got another show at 8:30, and then we've got another show at 9:30. So it's a long night. So stick around.
Hey, look, and if you want some content to react to, I'm more than happy, and I'm totally CC. I don't
listen. I'm not going to lie. The sort of content I want to react to on a Friday night. Do you want to see the content that Ron wants to react to? Do you want to see the greatest thing that has ever been put on the internet? Right. This is, and I'm not.
My question though, did you see the Diddy Viddy? The one they played at the court.
No, but
Oh, damn.
I definitely
Great
feel like
propaganda.
it's been a long time since I've checked in on Diddy. It's been a while.
Yeah. No, things are going down today, apparently. I saw a
Okay.
live stream earlier.
Right, hang on. I'm trying to find you guys the greatest thing on the internet. And I'm really hoping that I've not screwed this up for everyone. Just wait.
It's all right to have a few screws loose, dude.
A few screws loose. Dude.
I got a whole box, but it's
Like, it's not so much. I'm now at the stage of like, where do you get spares? Do you know what I mean? Right, hang on. This one. No, all right. I'm gonna try and find this. Okay. But this what I'm looking for is the greatest thing that has ever been put on the internet. Hang on. I think I've just figured out. No. No, this is disappointing. I'm quickly going to go rapid through my entire shorts history for the last 12 hours.
good luck, dude. I'm sure you'll find
Oh, listen, you just got to believe, okay? I've not doom scrolled at all today, and I watched this last night. So everyone just bear with me if you would like to see the greatest thing that has ever... In fact, I would beg to differ. I would beg to say that this is the one video that will define the very reason why the internet should exist and what the internet should be used for. Come on, I'm
I've
building this
seen
up.
this before, and it's one of those. I will love it.
Listen, this is...
I actually think it might be it. Dude, I saw something amazing
There's
just earlier as well.
absolutely no way that you could even guess what this video is going to be, right? But in my opinion, greatest thing on the internet. And if I don't find it, I'm going to be real upset, and it's going to haunt me for the rest of this evening. I know I sent it to Dan. Hang on a second. So hang on. Right, hang on. Come on, just be this one. No, it's back further than this. Yes, I know everyone that's watching, this is like tense, sitting on the edge of your seat stuff. Will he find the meme? Won't he find the meme?
Literally.
This is what a community is. Right. So it was definitely after this. And then we scroll, and then we scroll. And then we should get to last night, right? Which is here. Is it this one? Please be this one. Okay, I found it. Okay.
Oh,
Are you? And you know what? I'm going to put you on the screen, Lucky, for this is the greatest video, the greatest piece of content anyone will ever see, and this is what the internet is for.
It's definitely down there. I can see it. Yeah, I can see it too. I'm looking right at it. Yeah, well, I just feel like you can't be 100% sure because you're not looking in the water with me, so I'll just double check for you. Yeah, it's definitely down there. See, if you looked in the water with me, you'd be able to see it. Well, I see it just fine. So I'm telling you, man, I'm looking right at it. Yeah, every time you do that, you're actually making it harder for me to see because you keep shaking. Right there, dude. You keep shaking the water around it. Right? I don't know, dude. I think I'm just gonna deep dive for it. Maybe seal this. Okay. Well, you a dog, not a seal. So. I'm going for it. Here we go. No. Not even close. No. Come on, you're getting all wet. Wow. Yeah, that's at least like 3,049 or something. 2 clicks or something down there. No, just let me think of a better plan. Okay? Tell mom and dad I'm a good boy. I'm going to wait. Hold on.
His little paw.
Saw a few sharks. How to get out of there. Definitely no sharks. Dude, come on. I think if we both go down at the same time, we'll be able to get it. Okay. Yeah, no, that sounds like a terrible plan, and I'm not going to do it. Seriously.
I love how the other dog has a tiny lisp, right? He's like, it's a terrible plan.
So I had it in my mouth. I was so close. You like no point had that in your mouth. I saw the whole thing. You went even close.
This here is what the internet. This here is what the internet is for. Okay, just for anybody who wants to go and enjoy this or send it to literally anybody that you know, if you don't find this adorable, you need to go and have a word with yourself. Okay? I'm just saying. 2 dogs with a voiceover about a ball in a pool, that is up there.
Let me
with,
ask you, Ron. Do you
Yes.
like dogs or cats more?
Okay, so I like them, they're both the same, but they apply to completely different aspects of owning an animal for me. So if I had a cat, I would want a mean outdoor cat, right? Like a mean outdoor cat. That's what I'm looking for in a cat. I'm not looking for a cute and fluffy house cat. I'm looking for a cat that no one else messes with. Okay. I want to be able to like leave the country for 3 weeks and not worry about the cat, and the cat doesn't even notice I'm gone. Right? That kind of a cat. You know what I'm saying? Whereas a dog is very much part of my religious faith, and I need to get a dog really soon because it's a familiar that does a lot of good for my world, and it's been a long time.
I'm just joking.
What did you say?
Are you Chinese? You just said it's very religious. I'm like,
No,
I'm just joking. You know,
it's a familiar. It's a familiar for me. So when you have, like, as a human being, if you have aches and pains and the possibility of horrific diseases or all the things that affect us that we don't want to talk about as we get older, like slowing down, all that stuff, I believe my familiar absorbs all of that. And since my Thor passed away, it's been the most painful year of my life. So roll on the next one. But listen, everyone that's joined me this evening, Lucky, thank you for being here, mate. I'm just going to take you down. But thank you for being here, brother. It's always a pleasure. Thank you all for being here. Okay, we're going to be live in 9 more minutes. I will see you all there for the atrocities that have taken place in Manchester at the synagogue, the terror attack, the response by our government, the embarrassment. And then after that, we will be live looking into the realities of my country, the embarrassment, the fact that our women and children with the graping of Britain. And I'll see you all there. Take it easy. Peace.